everybody. Welcome to another episode of V1DA, sponsored by Undeniably Dairy. My name is Krissy. If you're new here, we talk to people in the gaming space about their journey and their experiences in gaming. Today, I am very excited because I have Attach, our special guest. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. What is good, everyone?
Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule, getting ready for champs and everything to be here. I really appreciate it, and I'm super excited to learn all about you and all about your journey in gaming and what's been good with you lately. So I guess start off, you could give us a little bit about how did you become a gamer and how you became a pro.
Oh, how I became a gamer. I think my first game I ever played, I was like 4 years old. I think my parents bought me like one of those purple Game Boy Colors. I think my first game was like Godzilla or something like that.
Mhm.
I think I can't really remember, but I've just always loved video games since I was young. And when I started playing with my friends from like school and on my baseball team. And that's when I played COD 4 at one of my friends' houses to play like a shipment 1v1. And it was like love at first sight. That's all I could think about for the next couple of days. I was like, oh my God, COD 4 shipment, the M16 MP5. I need that game. And eventually I got Xbox 360, Call of Duty 4, way back in like what 2007. And that's when I learned about just gaming. Then another one of my friends told me about game battles. I learned that you could play with and against other like competitive Call of Duty players, which I thought was the coolest thing ever. And I didn't think that many people played, but come to find out, lots of people played. And that kind of started the journey for me to become or to climb the rankings to try and go pro one day.
Yeah, so was there a point that you realized like, hey, I think I'm way better than the other kids, or was it just kind of like you said, like climbing the ranks, and then you're like, damn, like you enter tournaments, or like how did that work for you?
I definitely when I started off or I wasn't too good. I think the moment I realized when there was like some local tournaments in the Los Angeles area that I would go to, and the first one I got like second, third, and other stuff. I think I was like 14 or 15 when I went. But then I went to an MLG Anaheim in Black Ops 2, and that was my first like major LAN tournament. And when I went there, like I played against some like older pro COD players and like some pretty decent players, and I played really well. So I was like, okay, I think I could actually do this because I wasn't gonna go and play at that tournament. I wanted to go and play, but I didn't have a team. And then one of my friends, Kalani, hit me up 24 hours before the tournament started. He's like, yo, we have a team pass. We need one. And we know you live close. You want a team? And I went there and played. So if they didn't hit me up to go play in that tournament, I don't know where I would be right now.
Real quick, want to thank our sponsor, Undeniably Dairy, for making this show possible. We deserve to have delicious stuff in whatever flavor we want. Whether you love chocolate milkshakes or cheesy pasta, you can do what makes you happy. Big shout out to all the local farmers who make dairy possible. Back to the show. Along with gaming, comes everyone says you have a natural ability as a creator, and just as an interviewee or whenever you do content, version one is always talking you up and saying you're just a natural at it. And you've always been on your game as a content creator. So how do you balance that, competing and creating content? And why do you think it's important to do both?
Yeah, it can be. Well, I appreciate all the gas that version one hits me with, and I just like to have fun. But yeah, it's definitely tough to balance it. Like there'll be times when I'm uploading a lot more consistently and streaming a lot more consistently, and then there's times where it's kind of like dying down at certain points of the season when you're like traveling or you have a big tournament coming up. But it's very important to do both because you're not going to be able to be a professional player forever. At some point, your reactive time is going to be slowing down. You might not be as passionate about the game as you once were, and that having content and building a brand can lead you to so many different things after your professional career. You could be a streamer, YouTuber, you could work on the desk, you could work behind the scenes, you could do so much. So, and it's just a very good opportunity, and it's pretty fun. You get to meet a lot of cool people, you get to travel to a lot of cool places, and you really just never know where your content could take you. It's just something fun to do, and it keeps you busy. So it's just very important for everyone to do, because unless you just don't want to do it at all, then
Yeah.
you don't have to. But if you want to see yourself in gaming and stay in the gaming community for a long time and be able to work, I think content is very important.
Yeah, myself being a content creator, I always think it's very impressive when pros are able to juggle that because, I'm a full-time content creator and I even go through those periods, like you said, where I'm just like, either the motivation isn't there or the
Mhm.
consistency. It's very hard because, gaming for all of us started out as a hobby and then it became a job, and it sometimes can lead to burnout and things like that. So I think it's super impressive that you're able to juggle both of those. Have you thought about, one day when your pro career wraps up, have you ever thought about like what you would want to do with your life after that?
Yeah, I definitely have thought like what's gonna be next for me when I do officially retire. It's I don't have like a for sure answer yet because there's just so many things that could potentially happen, and it
Yeah.
depends on the time when I retire. But I think I would like dive into content and take it more seriously and do it like more full time, just because I won't be competing. So I'll
Mhm.
have more time to stream, upload, and put like more effort into YouTube videos or whether it's short form content as well. So I think I would just do content after I retire, and then I've always been passionate about like some kind of like businesses and different things like that. So I don't know exactly what businesses I would want to create or start and build, but something like that because I just feel like that's a good challenge. You learn a lot, and it's probably take a while to get off the ground and do some things right. But once you do, like it's gonna, if it does work, it's gonna be make you very successful. So and it's just like a fun kind of challenge. Dude. It's like challenging, so it's like why not do it?
Yeah, I noticed you've been doing watch parties and things like that. I think whenever the time does come, not that it's soon or anything, but like you would be so good at just really riding that high with like watch parties and all your content and everything. I've also seen your
Thank
merch.
you.
Your merch looks super sick. So that's already
Thank you.
a business endeavor that you've been diving into. With that being said, I do kind of want to shift topics. We're going to be heading into the spilled milk topic, which for those of you who don't know, we're going to be spilling a little bit of tea about the Røkkr roster. But before we get into it, just a little shout out to our sponsors at Undeniably Dairy. If you didn't know, 95% of all US dairy farmers are family owned and operated. So, just another shout out to Undeniably Dairy, and let's get into some spilled milk. So, Rostermania is crazy attached, and this year, mid-season, you were placed on the bench for Røkkr for a major, but now you're back on the team. You guys got third place at the latest major and you're heading into champs. So how did that feel, like going from being benched and then coming back to the roster and then seeing that success when you were implemented back into the roster?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like when I first got benched, we had a really bad stage before that, so we kind of knew a change was coming. Not exactly sure. We didn't know exactly who it was going to be for because we were thinking and trying some different things out. But then I was the one that I'm getting benched, and I just kind of was like, "Damn, well, I don't really know what to do with my day anymore." So I just streamed all day and played rank play, and played hackers all day. I was like, I need to keep myself busy. Like I can't just sit on my couch and stare at the wall. I need to like just do something kind of productive. And then the roster was still kind of struggling a little bit when I got benched. Like the new four, like it wasn't clicking. Like they didn't see that much of an improvement. And after they lost to Vegas Legion in the Major Five qualifiers, which was kind of like one of the most important, probably one of the most important matches of the season for Røkkr because the champs points race were so close. Only the top 8 of the 12 teams make it to champs, and Vegas was like right under Røkkr. And then Røkkr was 1-2 at that point going into Major Five, and they have 2 more matches. And we played LAT and Toronto, 2 really good teams. So I got the call after the match versus Vegas. Like I texted my coach. I was like, after they lost, I was actually like, listen, I'm at least winning you 1 hard point versus the Vegas Legion. And then he was losing full. Everyone was losing full because they just lost one of the most important matches of the season at that point. And they're like, yeah, like we're serious. Like, well, we'll bring you back. And the next couple of days, we kind of like figured out what the roster was going to be like because we didn't have that much time either. I think I got announced on Tuesday. I was able to scrim on Wednesday, and we had to play on Friday. So we only had literally 2 days of practice before playing LAT, who just won the major 3, who just won major 3, I believe, or no, they won the most recent one. They won major 4, right? Yeah, they did win major 4. Okay, sorry.
You're supposed to tell me.
I
You're
was
the Call of
I
Duty
was
League
benched.
pro.
I stopped paying attention. No, I'm just kidding. I still had to go to the tournaments because like I was a substitute while I was on the bench. I still had to like
Yeah.
go and watch and stuff. But we played the most recent major tournament champions, and after 2 days, we ended up beating them. Then we played Toronto, which were the major 3 champions, and beat them as well to put us at 3-2, get us 20 CDL points, and then start us in the winners bracket. So I was already like a great feeling. I was like, if you would have told me that we're beating those teams after a couple of days of practice, like I would have been like, what? That's pretty crazy. But we did that. We set ourselves up for the Major 5 tournament in Toronto. Then we went there and played Boston first round, which was a big match because if we lost that, we would have been in a really tough spot to make champs. But we ended up clutching up and winning that one, which secured us at the ICOT champs coming up next weekend in Vegas. And then the rest of the tournament was just like all right, well, let's see what we could do now. We already made the champs. Let's try and get that most points as possible to get the highest seed. And that's when we played Florida, 3-0 them, made it to Sunday to get top 3. And then we kind of got smoked versus New York and FaZe. But those were the 2 best teams of that weekend. And I mean, the Cinderella story had to end at some point. Like, if I just came back after a month and a half off and we won the tournament and beat like 2 of the best teams in the game who've still been practicing this whole time, that would have been a little too crazy. Like, that would have been a little too crazy.
They had to nerf you somehow, you know.
We got humbled, you know. We got humbled, and now we know we need to work on going into the biggest tournament of the year. So it was a crazy couple of months and couple of weeks. It's just we've been all over the place.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up, you said that, you know, you were just streaming a lot or whatever. I remember after Røkkr lost, like right before you got called back up, I remember seeing you tweet. Like I can't remember what your tweet was, but I was like, is he getting called up? And I was like, or is he just baiting? Because I know that you like to do that on your Twitter.
Me?
Yeah.
I like to bait? No.
Oh yeah.
No, I
Everybody
don't.
knows
I'm
that.
a very serious person all time, especially on Twitter.
But at that time, did you know, or were you baiting?
No. I like kind of knew, but it wasn't official that I was coming back. But that tweet was kind of about something else. It just matched up perfect timing. So that tweet was about something else, kind of a little bit of bait, but then I ended up getting brought back on the roster. But I can't talk about what yet. I can't talk about what that tweet was about just yet. In a couple months, I probably can, but it was kind of like it was about something else, but a little bit bait. And the timing was kind of a little bit baity as well.
Yeah, that's funny. You got to do what you got to do on Twitter. Get those impressions. I respect it.
People are too serious on Twitter sometimes. Like, someone has to have some fun and just mess around. And, you know, people are going too crazy nowadays.
Understandable. So yeah, with you guys making an amazing push at the latest major and placing top 3, what do you feel like changed within the team to achieve that result? Do you think it was just like your play style or the team dynamic? Like, what would you say was the biggest factor there?
I think it was just like the communication with the team, and everyone kind of just knew like, oh shit, we're making another change. Like, we need to make sure we come out on point. Like, we can't mess around and just like make a couple changes and not be good. So there's a lot of pressure on everyone to perform, and it's kind of just like our teamwork gelled naturally. We were just able to break hills and other team setups. We were able to hold hills and get a lot of points. Like, it just seemed like everything kind of clicked right away. And then we've just been building on that ever since. So that's just a good feeling, because sometimes like you just can't get it to work, but we were able to get it to work pretty quickly. So that was definitely a confidence booster in everyone.
Nice. So I know, for example, I pay a lot more attention to Rocket League than I do, say, Call of Duty. And I know Rocket League as a game has evolved to where the team dynamic is so important. Like, you can have one really good individual player, but overall, how you work together as a team is very, very important. So would you say that Call of Duty is similar in that way? Like, teamwork like triumphs all, or can individual skill really like carry there? Or is it a mix of both?
Yeah, it's definitely probably a mix of both, just because every team is different. Every player is different. There's some players who are super talented, but might make some bad, dumb plays and put their teammates in tough situations that ended up costing them. Like, the best teams are the ones that could find the balance, or they know how to play the game and like they're putting themselves in the most favorable positions, but then they're also really talented. So like, if they need to get out of a bad situation, they have the talent and the teamwork to get out of it. But you like want to have a good foundation of what you're going to do, the game plan and teamwork to put yourself in the consistent scenarios. Because if you're always in different situations, it's going to be hard to perfect a different situation every single time. Like, no one's going to know what to do consistently. So the best teams are the ones that have like a good system, but then also have a lot of talent on the side, so they could just be ready for everything. But yeah, that's definitely, there's a lot of players who, some might not be that talented, but they're really smart. Then other players might be extremely talented, but they're pretty dumb. So they do some stuff that isn't good. But that's kind of what you need to work on throughout your career. To like, you might have a lot of talent when you're young, but then you need to like get the smarts on your side and figure out how to best use that talent. Or if you're like the older veteran on the team, how do you get one of the younger players to, how do you get that talent or bring the talent out, or the smarts and talent out, and put them in like the right situation all the time?
Yeah. As we all know, you've had a very successful career up until this point. But however, you guys did not make champs last year, which was the first time ever in your career that you didn't get to compete there. This year, Røkkr's a 6th seed. So what does it feel like to get back to the stage? And do you feel like you have something to prove individually and as a team?
Yeah, it was tough not making champs last year because I think this would have been like my ninth or 10th champs. I'm not really sure. But yeah, it was last year was very interesting. Sucks that we didn't make it though, because that's the biggest tournament of the year. Everyone watches, all the best teams and players are there. Everyone's like on point for that weekend because that's what you play for. Like people remember they kind of remember who won the smaller tournaments throughout the year, but they always remember who won the world championship every single year. That's just the most important tournament by far. The only thing anyone talks about 10 years from now, no one's talking about, oh, who won major two, and like no one cares. It's who
Yeah.
won the ring that year. That's what everyone wants to talk about. So like that's why it's so important to get to champs and then not only get there, but like be competitive at champs. So it's definitely a big test for myself and the team where we need to prove ourselves as individuals and as a team, because you're only as good as your last game or your last tournament showing. And that's what's going to happen going into this offseason. Like everyone's going to remember who went to champs, who fried, what teams did really well. And that's what's going to happen when another roster mania happens. And then also you want to just do well to give yourself more opportunity. And of course, give yourself a chance to make some money and win a ring and just kind of showcase your dominance over everyone else at the end of the year. Cause you practice all that time behind the scenes for this moment. So you got to make the most of it.
Yeah, that's what we do at the end of the day. We're gamers and we're here to compete. So good luck
Oh,
to you guys. I'm super excited to watch you play at
thank
Champs
you.
in Vegas. I will be watching. I'll be cheering for Røkkr.
There we go. There we go.
Before we move on, if you're trying to do your best in life, in game or on stream, you need to pick fuel that helps you succeed. One of the easiest ways to pick good fuel is with dairy. It's nature's perfect delivery mechanism for protein. Cream cheese on a bagel, fuel. Expensive fancy cheeses, also fuel. The milk in your cereal, that's fuel. Also, all of those things are delicious. All right, let's get back to the show. I want to talk a little bit about outside of competing, what grounds you, as Dylan instead of just attached to the gamer? What's your life out your life like outside of competing and gaming? And maybe, if you have any hobbies that you do besides gaming, talk to me a little bit about that.
Life outside of gaming. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like to be outside a lot just because with gaming you sit down a lot, you're inside. And it's nice to just get some fresh air, especially when the weather gets nicer, the sun's out, go take some walks or they go work out. I grew up in California, so I always was surrounded by a lot of nice beaches. So I love to go to the beach when I can. Of course, I feel like I enjoy working out, but I also work out because I know what we do. At least for me personally, like when I'm going hard in video game, my posture is terrible. I'm leaning forward. I don't want to be a hunchback by the time I'm done gaming and have like arthritis in all my hands. So I make sure to take care of my body and stuff. And everyone that's in the office or streamer, gamer, pro player definitely needs to make sure they're doing that as well to stay healthy. But yeah, I just like to, I don't know, be outside in nature, do stuff, go to sporting events, travel a lot. I think my favorite thing is traveling. I like traveling. Like whenever I have time off, I like to like go to whether it's Hawaii every off season. It's been like a thing where I go to Hawaii every off season. So I love that place. But yeah, traveling's fun. Just seeing new places, new cultures, trying new foods out, and just exploring. That's kind of like that's what I like to do.
Yeah. Do you have like a favorite food cuisine?
Oh, Mexican food. Easy.
Yes. Let's
Easy, easy.
go.
See,
The
I know you
best
got good
food.
taste. See, you got good taste as well. What's your favorite? You can pick one Mexican dish that you eat for the rest of your life. What is it?
I feel like it's just like some carne asada, like I don't
Okay.
know, that's just like my go-to with
Yeah.
some Mexican rice. Like I know it's basic, but that's just all I need in life.
No,
What about
mine's
you?
mine's probably the same. Like I have a spot every time I go back home. There's some street tacos that I would go to. It's cash only. That's how you know it's good. A little
Oh
truck on the
yeah.
side of the road. They got the al pastor. They got the asada. They got other stuff too. But oh my gosh, street tacos! I could eat those every single day. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I love street tacos. The cilantro, onions, the different
The
kind of salsas.
cilantro.
Oh, it's the best. I could eat street tacos every day.
I know California in particular has like amazing Mexican food. Every time
Yes.
I go there, like you said, I find like the closest like food truck or something and I just go ham.
The best spots are the hole in the wall spots. The spots that might look a
Yes.
little sketchy, they always have the best food.
You
And that
just
goes for
gotta
every type of
trust.
food.
They're
Yeah, oh
cooking
yeah,
it up
yeah.
back there in the kitchen. Like
Yep.
that's so moving on a little bit, you mentioned fitness. Do you have like a set fitness routine that you have throughout the week? Like are you super strict with it or is it just kind of like you just do it when you feel like you need to? And does it help you compete in any way? Like does it help you relieve stress from, all the pressure of being a pro gamer?
Yeah, definitely like working out, whether it's lifting weights, going for a run, or even just you want to sit there, do some breath work, some yoga, do whatever you got to do. It definitely helps alleviate the stress of, pro gamer or whatever you do for work. Like everyone's job is stressful. So it's good to just get out there and they blow off some steam. But shout out to Røkkr and version 1. They hooked us up with like trainers. So the past couple of years, we've had a trainer that'd be in the gym with us for when we lift weights. They have like a routine and everything, and we work out like 3 to 4 days a week. And we don't have a trainer at the moment where we are currently. There's one in Minnesota, but we're not there at the
Mhm.
moment. Um, but yeah, I like to work out like 3 or 4 times a week, just lifting weights, and then maybe go for like a run if I just get bored, and just making sure I get outside. And every day, every morning, I have to wake up when the sun's out. Now I have to go to the pool at the top, tan a little bit, get some sunlight, reset the circadian rhythm, so I get some good sleep at night too. But that's kind of like my thing I like to do when it does get warm out. But yeah, it's so important to myself and everyone else that does it, that just takes care of their body. It's gonna allow you to play longer and be at the top level of your game longer, because you're just feeling better, you're happier, you're not stressed out, and then it just resets everything. Like you just feel good.
Yeah.
I've never finished a workout and be like, damn, why did I work out? That
Why
was
did I work
terrible.
out?
Even if
Yeah.
I'm pissed, like I still feel great after. So it's so important, and I like that it's becoming more normal in gaming. I feel like where you're seeing streamers, content creators, pro players like working out, and then also the organizations like helping give the what's the word, I can't think right now. I ate Raising Canes before this, I can't lie. I still like to enjoy some fast food like Raising Canes. But what was I going to say? It kind of give you the access to like different trainers and everything, and shows you the
Yeah.
importance of it. It helps take care of you and the team.
Yeah, I can totally relate with that because I used to be an athlete for like 20 years of my life, and then I was athlete turned gamer basically, and I kind of got
Same.
out of that rhythm, and because I was grinding streaming like all day every day. But recently I've been getting back into it, and it's just crazy. Like I think people underestimate how good the gym is just for your mood. Like me
Yeah.
just physically getting up and getting out of my apartment after streaming and just resetting and like kind of like minimizing streaming as work and then focusing on life outside of
Mm.
that. Like going to the gym really helps me kind of like almost set my priorities straight mentally, and I just remember, like I feel like I can breathe when I go to the gym. It's so nice. Like I'm not even like lifting heavy or anything. I'm just like being active, and
Yeah.
it's really great. So I recommend that for any gamers. I think, yeah, like you said, it's kind of becoming more popularized, which is very nice to see, it being more normalized in the gaming community. So yeah, and definitely a stress reliever, like you said,
Yeah.
just being active. And so yeah, this turned into a fitness podcast real quick.
There we go.
Yeah, but thank you, Attach. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining. I really enjoyed getting to hear your perspective on things, and I just want to wish you guys a huge good luck at Champs next weekend.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun tournament. Yeah, we got to put on for everyone. We got to put on for the organization, all the supporters, everyone out in Minnesota that's still showing love no matter what. When I was benched, when I'm back on the roster, so we want to go out there, have some fun, make a deep run at the tournament, and hopefully get some rings. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I know everyone's very happy to see you back and thriving. So good luck to you guys again. I just want to say a big shout out to Undeniably Dairy one more time for sponsoring this episode of Vita. If you like this episode, please make sure to like, follow, and subscribe for more.